We have big political news this morning. Former Vice President Joe Biden is now a 2020 presidential candidate. He released a 3-minute campaign video this morning calling out the 2017 white nationalist rally in Charlottesville, Virginia, and President Trump's response that there were, quote, very fine people on both sides.
And a senior campaign says that for Biden, what happened in Charlottesville, quote, shook him to the core. And it is the moment that he decided he had to run.
I believe history will look back on 4 years of this president and all he embraces as an aberrant moment in time. But if we give Donald Trump 8 years in the White House, he will forever and fundamentally alter the character of this nation, who we are. And I cannot stand by and watch that happen.
Biden is now the 21st candidate for the Democratic nomination, and polls show that right now he is one of the favorites to win it. Ed O'Keefe is covering the 2020 campaign. Good to see you.
Good to see you guys.
He's using that phrase again, that this is the battle for the soul of this nation. What does that tell us about how he's going to wage this campaign?
It tells us he's ready to throw some punches, and is far more willing to do it than other Democrats in the race so far. So we'll see. Now, in that video this morning, Biden talks about how he believes Americans are in a battle of the soul of the nation. And in the coming days, we expect to hear Biden talk about restoring an inclusive middle class. We've talked several times this year about the diversity of the Democratic field, more women, minorities. There's an openly gay candidate. Now, consider the age gap. At 76, Biden is the second oldest candidate in the field of Democratic contenders, behind the 77-year-old Bernie Sanders. When Biden ran for president in 1988, this cycle's youngest candidate, 37-year-old Pete Buttigieg of South Bend, Indiana, was just in kindergarten. It's unclear if Biden's more than 40 years of public experience will translate to voter support. Also unclear what kind of financial support Biden will earn. His first test is how much money he raises today. The number to beat is $6.1 million raised by Beto O'Rourke on his first day on the campaign trail earlier this year. You might also be wondering about Joe Biden's former boss, President Obama, and where he stands in all this. In a statement this morning, he said picking Biden as his running mate in 2008 was, quote, one of the best decisions he ever made. But we're told he is unlikely to throw his support behind a specific candidate this early in the campaign.
But it's interesting, too. I mean, he's really talking about that the core values of this nation are at stake. I mean, he comes with a wealth of background, and to take him on essentially what are issues of character.
Sure, exactly. He founds his announcement in Charlottesville, Virginia in August of 2017 and is making a claim. He talks about America shouldn't be a place where you give hate safe harbor, which is an attack on the president, saying
and I mean,
he had
look,
done so.
All these other candidates are focused on themselves, who they are, what they would do. It is telling that somebody who has universal name recognition is willing to spend a little capital right here at the start, focusing on his opponent.
He doesn't need to introduce himself to voters. They already know his bio.
Should we be surprised Obama is holding back at this point?
No, because, I mean, I think if the shoe were on the other foot 8 years ago, or however many, I can't do math this early in the morning, but he wouldn't have wanted an incumbent stepping on the race, and would have understood that, you know, as somebody who came from behind to win it, improbably, in the view of many people, it should be a wide open race. We'll see.
All right, Ed, thanks.